Good morning, everyone. Question of the day is if you could change one bad habit of yours, what would it be? It's a great question. I would love to answer this question by doing a little bit of review of my own life and then also just kind of talking about some principles of setting good habits and breaking bad habits. Some of the first steps, at least. So, to start, the first thing is to know what you want to do, what kind of person you want to be, and that's honestly the most important step. What kind of person do you want to be? For me, I know that I want to be a devoted follower of God, follower of Christ. So I want to keep His commandments. I want to be a good husband, a good son, a good brother, good member of my family, a good member of my community, someone who lifts and leads others to a better place. Uh, and I could go on, but just knowing those few things right there, that tells you a few habits that I probably should have. Keeping the commandments is certainly a good place to start. And so, any habits that I have that go contrary to those are certainly bad habits that I would like to break. Now, I can't necessarily think of one at the moment, as I'm talking about this. I probably should have thought about this beforehand. But let's just discover something real quick. So I want to be a better leader among men. I want to be somebody that people can count on, someone who gathers people. And one habit that I have that is a little non-conducive to this is whenever I go into groups of people, I tend to keep to myself. And it's a lot easier to do that. You don't have to worry about talking to anybody. Just keep to yourself. Don't worry about trying to maintain a conversation or remember names or remember things about what people care about, what they're talking about. But in order to be a true servant leader, a gatherer of people, you have to be comfortable with talking to everybody, being being close to people, or not even necessarily just being close, but like being willing to interact with everybody. And so, not talking to people in groups of people when going to groups of social events, it's not a good habit. So, let's go with that. That's a bad habit that I would love to change. And I've been working on that one for a while. That's the thing about bad habits is even if you can identify something that's bad in your life, that doesn't mean that you will then be able to just stop and just change it right away. If only it was that easy. It's not. It really isn't. So what's the next step after that? Well, once you've identified what the bad habit is, it's good to kind of put some clear parameters on that. Understanding what constitutes going against your values in this situation. So for me, not talking to people in social events. That's a little vague, because I could like quickly say, "Oh, hi" to people at social events, and that wouldn't really be a productive social um, endeavor. Um, so we could put this in a positive way. Say when I go to social events, I have one, at least we could say at least two. Well, let's say at least one, because who knows, might be a really long one. At at least one meaningful conversation with someone that I don't know from before. Yeah, that's it. I'll have at least one um, meaningful. Maybe meaningful is a little strong. We'll say at least one extended conversation with someone I didn't know before. So not just like, hey, how are you doing? Doing good. Cool. Good to see you. Goodbye. Something like where you actually get to know them a little more. So that's what I'll say. That's when you. So I identified that as if I don't do that, I have broken my values, what I've committed to do. I'm committing to do that right now. That'll be a goal whenever I go to a social activity, and it's recorded on this video. Now, secondly, it's important to realize that there's an enemy in this goal, in this plan. The adversary, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call him, that, or if you don't want to believe in religion and stuff, you could say that it's the dark side of your mind or something. Personally, I don't like that because I don't like the idea of me fighting against myself. I believe in the influence of dark spirits who want to make me unhappy, who will fight, and these dark spirits, these entities fight to make me go against my values. So it's not a one-sided thing. When I have committed to do something, the reason that I can't just go ahead and go and do it is because, one, I have built up this habit loop of doing the opposite for so long that that's going to be really hard to break. And two, there's a destructive, actual, unseen entity that seeks to subconsciously influence me to feel pain and discomfort in those situations so that I find relief in some other way. Meaning, just flee the scene, don't talk to anybody, forget about it. So, what do you do from there? Now that you know that you what you want to do, you understand the nature of this, that it is a fight between you and with an enemy actively seeking to stop you. The next step is to make it as easy and as rewarding as possible. So, how do you do that? Well, let's just take this example. So, first step, make it easy. So when I go to these social events, let's say my church has a social event, and I have to have something, first of all, that reminds me. So I walk in and I see all these people, and I'm like, where do I start? I'm here with my wife. It'd be easier just to kind of talk with her. I'm going to just talk to the first person that I see. That's the easiest thing to do. I literally walk into the door. First person I see, I will literally walk up to, introduce myself. Hey, I'm Simon. What's your name? And then once they'll say, hey, I've been in the ward for, I guess it's been almost a year now. How long have you been here? Where are you from? And just start a conversation. And then making that sounds very simple, very easy. And then making it, and there are other ways to do this as well. And you could have Natalie, who probably knows a few more people than I do, introduce me to some people. That's a much better way, honestly, because then there's a connection. There's a way to get to it. Now, it's one, you shouldn't always rely on other people, but if you can, then do it. So that'll be my priority. But if that doesn't work out, my next backup is just talk to the first person I see. Making it rewarding. If so, you want to make it intrinsically and extrinsically, externally rewarding as well. So intrinsically, yeah, it's gonna be rewarding to meet new people. I actually really love people. I love meeting them. It's just uncomfortable sometimes. So meet somebody and remind myself, hey, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy meeting some new people. And extrinsically, if I do my goal, I get to have a milkshake or something. I don't know. This video has gone a little long though, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But yeah, if I had one bad habit that I would really like to change is not talking to people in social situations. So I identified what I would like to commit to. Whenever I go to social situations, I will have one extended conversation with at least one person. And I know that it's not going to be easy because I have an enemy actively seeking to frustrate those efforts. So I will make this process as simple as possible by asking my wife to introduce me to someone she knows at these social events. And if that doesn't fall through, I will simply walk up to the first person I see as I walk through the door and introduce myself. And making it rewarding, I will focus on the rewarding feeling I get from getting to meet somebody new and hear their story and make a connection. And also, I will treat myself with a milkshake if I do this goal. So there you have it. That's my one habit I'd like to change. Kind of a sloppy video, but I'm practicing here. So, all right, see y'all next video.